I'm in the vineyard. I'm at the home of wine.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Episode 4 of Hashtag Wine Lads. As always, I am Boomer.
And I am Felton Kalud. But my friends call me Cal, and you can too.
And we're here we do drinking beer on this fucking wine podcast.
Shit.
And we're here to talk to you about wine.
Not beer.
So today is a very special episode. As we have a special guest, a
First
celebrity guest.
Yeah.
Celebrity first guest.
Celebrity friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast, indeed. He's a fan, a long time listener, but long being the duration of we've been doing this. So
he's listened to every episode basically,
yeah,
and he's loved it. He's a big fan, which I'm really happy about actually.
Me too. Me too. So without further ado, everybody, Mr. Gaz Brookfield.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me? I'm using my fancy headphone thing.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going?
Good, thank you. I'm a little nervous.
Hey, don't be nervous. We'll be fine. We're not going to probe you too much. But we're just here to drink some wine, man. We're just here to drink some wine.
I'm into that. I'm such a big fan of the podcast, so but I'm genuinely really happy to be here. So thank you.
Oh, it really warms my heart every time you say that, man. I'm really glad that you're enjoying what we're putting out.
What's not to love? It's wine. It's lads. It's wine lads.
It's wine. That's the slogan. We've got it.
Awesome. There's the t-shirts.
Do you like wine? Do you like lads?
Call 0898 50 50 50.
Oh, chat back. Classic.
Excellent. So, Gaz, you are a singer-songwriter, I believe.
That's what they tell me.
Cool. You've been doing songs and stuff, so we're going to talk a little bit about what you do. Then we're going to have some wine, and then we're going to drink that wine more.
I like the plan.
So it's you've been going for a while now, and you are currently doing a series of lockdown gigs called Live from the Lockdown.
Just like everybody else with a guitar.
You have a banner, so it's fancy.
Yeah, you do. You have a banner, and you were one of the first T-shirts that I saw that came out, which I actually ordered the other day. I finally got around to ordering one of them.
Oh, sweet! The next batch is coming in next week, so I'll fire them out as soon as I get them, dude.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, the whole banner thing. So, like, I cancelled my last few gigs just before lockdown was official because I could see that this thing was coming and it didn't look good. And I live with my wife who has respiratory problems. I've got underlying health conditions as well, type 1 diabetic. Catching this thing didn't sound like fun.
Yeah.
So I also spreading it. It was irresponsible. I was one of my gigs was in Milton Keynes and the next one was down in Devon. And it was like I could potentially be spreading it around hundreds of miles. So I just cancelled my gigs, and then immediately thought, bugger, how do I make money now? How do I carry on being, just what I'd normally do? And I thought, well, I'll try a Facebook live stream. So I did it. I may well have been one of the first. There she is.
Just
hood up like a ninja.
Robbed.
Yeah. Wow. I think she's letting the dog out. So yeah, so I did the first live stream. I did the first live stream thing, and people seemed to take to it. And then the week later, the actual lockdown happened, and every single musician on the planet started doing them. So the market was immediately saturated, but it is still fun, like a hell of a lot of fun. And it gives something to focus on every week.
I think it is so fun because obviously, I live with Mr. Benjamin Sides, who is also doing these live gigs, streaming, of which I get involved with, and it's a lot of fun.
I love Cal Corner. Cal Corner, awesome.
I really think even after, obviously, there's no replacement for a live venue, and there's and the atmosphere and the crowd you get with that. But these streaming gigs, while this is going on, I think there still could be a thing afterwards. Like, it's very easy to set up. It's an easy way for people to sit down an evening and watch someone play it and interact as well, because you've got with Facebook the comments and things like that, and everyone's so nice on them as well. Like a lot of our evenings are spent watching yourself, Gaz. We watched Jake when he did his album launch as well. Jake Martin, we'll link him. Maybe we'll get him on as well one day. We obviously I'd get involved with Ben's stuff as well. We watched all the like the Heartwork stuff as well, and Frank Turner as well.
We've been doing the same thing here as well, spending a lot of our spare time just watching these wonderful live gigs that you don't have to get out of your pajamas to watch.
Yeah, but you can still sit. You can sit on your couch and drink and watch them.
Yeah,
we have you on every Friday, Gaz, actually, for half an hour only, because we got a quiz at 7:30. So you know, but for half an hour.
Fair play.
So if you could front load your sets from now on and just like play the better stuff at the beginning.
Yeah, no, what I always do anyway.
Good.
I figure people have sort of mentally zoned out by about half an hour in, so that's true of every one of my gigs.
So one of the things that you, that you do, Gaz, every time that you're doing these gigs, I notice is you're having a lovely glass of wine.
Yes. Usually I am having a lovely glass of wine.
Yeah,
it is my favourite thing. What
wine have you got today?
I've got the last bottle of my most recent crate that I bought from Laithwaite's. Other online wine providers are available. This is a Spanish thing. It's called Posada del Rey. I have no idea what it's like. It was one of those mixed selection crates where you don't know what you're getting. You're just getting a mixed box of reds.
Oh, that sounds good.
So this is, doesn't even say what year it is on the front. Doesn't matter though, does it? It's wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking last time, like, does it even matter anymore? Is that a thing, or is it just like when you get to like, if it's like 100 years old, I assume that's a good age, or does it just become like fucking rank by that point?
It's never mattered to me, to be fair. The snobbery around wine is not something that I understand. I think I might be in fairly good company on that front.
Yeah, we know very little.
Yeah.
So what have you got, Cal? What have you got?
So I picked this up. I went into, it was my last big Tesco shop that I did, my last essential one, and I was where you queue in the St Neots Tesco is right by the wine, and I was like, oh, I do have a red wine, but I'm gonna just have a quick scan, see if there's anything I want to pick up. And this was, I think it wasn't even marked down. It was £7 or £8, and the name just caught me. It's the original Dark Horse.
Oh, it's a nice one. That I've had that.
Ah, there you go. See, I saw there was a Merlot, and normally I'll go for the Merlot, but I went for the Cabernet Sauvignon instead.
My other wine's a Merlot.
It's also a T-shirt we need to do.
Is that the bumper sticker for the back of your car?
Yeah.
What have you got?
Getting traction. It's getting traction now. Like, I don't even remember it from the podcast. Everyone's favourite. I must have just not been listening to you.
What's yours? What's yours?
I've gone for a Rioja.
Ooh.
It's
nice.
A Cepa Liberal. I don't know. I have no idea how to say it. It's it's a Spanish one, probably. Yeah.
Oh, we're both on Spanish.
Yeah.
Viva la España.
Viva la España.
I'm way out. I'm California. American wine.
Oh.
Very nice.
Right,
Vino Tinto is what it says here. Vino Tinto. Apparently, we're supposed to open wine. Are we opening? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
we're going to go.
Because mine's a cork, so it's going to take me fucking ages.
Oh, you've got a cork. I think that's the first cork. These are the first corks on Wine Lads. I've just got a screw up. Mine's open.
Mine's even a real cork made of actual cork.
Oh, it's not one of those weird plasticky ones.
No, it's genuine.
Oh, nice. You don't see that much of them anymore.
Well, I think I might have one of them as well. What were you going to say, guys? There's something about opening wine.
Well, apparently you're supposed to open it ages before, pour it into a thing, let it breathe and all that. Tannins and stuff like that.
It's the tannins, man.
Don't care.
The other day, actually, I did see some, like, you know, on like your Google feed when it just comes up with like suggested articles and stuff. So there was one about like it being debunked, like whether you have to actually open it beforehand, how long you have to let it breathe.
I'm glad about that.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no. No.
The wine's forever trapped.
The wine has beaten him.
I'm going to get a pair of pliers. Hang on, I'll be back.
I'm so upset. Poor him. That's awful.
I don't know if we'll
Wow.
edit this bit out or just leave it in for humour.
Definitely leave it in. I was opening a tin of beans earlier, and the on a proper tin opener,
Yeah,
and the turny thing snapped in my hand.
yeah.
Yeah, so I had to proper Boy Scout it with one of those old-fashioned. Remember the old-fashioned ones that are just a hook thing, and you got to
Yeah.
stab at the top of the can. Yeah, I Boy Scouted it with one of those with
Nice.
my Leatherman multi-tool, which is
And
to date the
And
best
your can
thing.
opening badge.
It's the best present my wife has ever bought me. The Leatherman multi-tool. I am now a man.
I actually have a backup one here ready.
Ooh.
Because it was new. It was new. This one's fucked as well, but the other one was like plastic. So I bet you that fucking thing breaks. So I better have another one just in case. If this breaks, I'm just gonna have to open my other wine.
Have you ever been in a situation like you were on holiday or you were camping or maybe at a festival and you sort of go, I'm going to drink my wine, and then you grab it out of the bag and you've bought a cork one rather than a twist off, and you don't have any bottle opener? Have you ever been in that situation?
I've never been in that situation. I've never thought of bringing wine to a festival, actually. That's a great idea.
The ones that you're allowed glass into, obviously. I mean, so
Yeah.
most of them you can't. So you can tuck it in a box, which is fine by me.
Yeah, box wine.
In my camper van, when I'm at festivals, they don't really check, so I've usually got bottles of wine. And well, not now, because if they ever watch this, then they'll search me for wine, won't they? But like,
Put it
definitely
in Coke
happened to me in a
bottles.
hotel. Yes, decant it into Coke bottles. Nothing says class like wine from a Coke bottle.
Or if you really want to feel classy, put it into a large Ziploc bag.
Oh, and just pop it and
Just get a straw.
I think
anyway,
it's,
cheers, boys.
Yes, cheers. Cheers indeed. Ding. It's deep colour, this one.
Yeah, so we got steps, guys. You're getting ahead of yourself here. So you gotta look at the wine, tilt the
You're going
wine.
to tilt the wine.
Do we know why? Do we know why?
I did. I watched Sideways the other week, and they explained it all in that, and I completely forgot to look it up again. It's something to do with like the color density, like as soon as you get around to the edges, and then that shows you something.
Okay.
What it shows you, I don't know. Yeah, color consistency and density, I think, is one of the things.
From the video feeds, it all looks like we've got pretty deep coloured wines.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of darkness.
Mine's definitely consistently. It's definitely red all the way through.
That's good. That's a good sign.
We've got to sniff it.
Then a swirl, because I remember this one. It oxidizes the wine and helps bring out more smell, which actually does work.
Also helps you spill wine on your nice sofa.
It does.
Yeah, don't do it on a nice sofa.
Nice.
This sofa was nice when we bought it, but since it's had a lot of wine spilt on it since.
I just snorted some wine.
Oh, don't. Maybe that's the new thing. Everyone.
A line of wine.
I'm not.
That's come up before as well.
I did.
That really smells like cherries. That is a big cherry smell I'm getting from that.
Same here, actually.
I didn't read
it's
the
super
back, so
berry-ish.
Am I right in the fact it's got cherries?
I don't know what wine smells. Mine smells like wine.
None of mine's in English, so it's it does have pictures of berries on it. So
berries, red cherry. Mine's cherries.
Mine says cherries, and I can smell cherries. That means I'm a wine expert, RB. But
it's kind of blackberry and cherryish.
Unless I can smell yours, Gaz. That's true.
Yeah, blackberryish and cherryish for me.
My lot has said that we enjoy this wine with garlic roasted lamb or a simple dish of Camaro's goat cheese and olives.
Oh.
That's what they like with it. Do you guys ever snack while you do the podcast? I mean, I've watched them all, but I don't think...
We do. You're welcome to. If you've got food and you want a snack, you go right ahead.
Well, do you know what? I was thinking the one thing that was missing, because I generally have you on in the sort of corner of the screen while I'm parceling up merchandise, so my eye isn't always on you.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you were eating or not, but I thought I'd bring the thing that's missing from your wine thing, cheese. I
was going to say, have you got cheese, haven't you?
Yes, but I have a very cheese-hungry dog, so I've had to put my cheese in a little pot.
I have an every food hungry dog, and it doesn't actually have to be food.
Oh, here he comes. There he is.
Oh, he's heard the click of the box.
Yeah. So I've got a standard little chunks of fairly standard Wick Farm cheddar. I've got some Mexicana.
Ooh,
which is hands down one of my favourites. I don't have much else, so I thought to make it a 3 cheese plate, I'd be really classy, and I bought a Dairylea slice.
So are you gonna use the Dairylea slices as bread? I assume.
Holy
Then
shit,
have
that's a
fillings
genius
of
idea.
cheese on the inside, like more than one filling of cheese.
I'm gonna, and instead of crackers, I'm gonna use cheese. This is happening. Mexicana wrapped in Dairylea.
So is the Mexicana spicy then?
It's got chilies in.
Nice.
Hey, you've just changed my life for the better.
You're welcome, O. I've mastered the language. Yes. This is actually quite nice.
This is very nice.
Yeah, mine's lovely too.
This is basically just cherry. It's basically cherry flavoured wine. It's good though.
This is really, really dry, which I'm not necessarily against. Yeah, it's very dry.
I like the drinkable ones, the ones that just fly down, you know?
Oh, yeah, I think it was the first podcast that we did. I had quite a summery red wine. It was quite light. That just flew down my throat. That was all gone. I was pissed by the end of that podcast. It was great.
They can be, they can be quite heavy, can't they? Some red wines.
Yeah. Like the one that I've got, it's not too with the colour. I would expect it to be heavier. It's not too heavy, but yeah, I always think of them as a winter red wine when you're all tucked up in your cozy bed with 7 bottles of wine.
Almost spicy.
Yes, almost.
Yeah, that's
spicy.
kind of like the first one I had in the first episode. That was kind of like that. I think I had like a Shiraz or something. It was really, really thick, dark, and yeah, like a winter wine kind of thing. And I had it on a hot day, which is the exact opposite way around to do things. Since then, I actually bought I thought because we do like red wine every time. I thought it might be good to have like a rosé or something, which I've had, and it hasn't been warm since we've done one since then.
Yeah, it's definitely a summer drink, that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've been looking forward to if we can do a hot day on it, then I'm going to bust out that one.
It's going to get warmer.
I've even bought something for it because I didn't have I don't have anywhere to put it in this room, so it would just get warm during the podcast. So I bought a denim wine sack.
Wow.
Which is where that shit bottle opener came from.
Was that for keeping wine chilled? Oh,
that's incredible. That's amazing.
I'm
so jealous.
It comes with a shit hanky.
For shit?
Or I don't know what that's
shit hanky.
You can like seal it off to like create like a little wine zone.
Have you seen people at festivals? They quite often see these people at festivals with Prosecco and that in these little wine cozies, hanging around their necks and stuff. What?
Yeah, this is a good purchase. I'll send you guys where I got this from. It costs like £5 or something.
Oh, nice. Good for picnics then.
And a shoulder strap.
You should merchandise them with a Wine Lads logo.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
that
sounds like the only logical explanation.
We should do corkscrews that don't fucking break within one open.
Do corkscrews that are also a watch, so you can tell the time while you're opening wine.
No one wants to know the time when they're drinking, Cal. It makes us sad.
How will you know that it's time to drink? It's always time to drink.
Because it's always 11:30 somewhere.
Exactly.
There's definitely a merchandise line to be had here, chaps, though. I mean, I definitely wear the Wine Lads wine bag with my Wine Lads t-shirt, opening it with my Wine Lads corkscrew.
We'll have to I'll have to get onto the guys that Ben does his t-shirts with, and like, sorry, enough of this B-side stuff. Where's my Wine Lads stuff?
Do you know, I bet they do bottle openers and things like that. Why wouldn't they do corkscrews and wine cozies? They must do.
Or we could start a thing.
Let's start a thing.
Become the most powerful wine podcast ever.
I can't name another one, so we may already be.
Well, there you go.
I bet there are. There must be proper ones where people know what they're talking about and they stand around with posh voices talking about how things are drinking. Oh, it's drinking very well this evening.
Yes. I'm detecting notes of cinnamon and vanilla.
I can smell a suggestion of medieval history and Renaissance paintings.
Imagine the pain in their faces if they were to watch one of these.
Yeah,
I can't,
I'd love to see
believe
it.
they're sitting. Can't believe they're sitting on a sofa and drinking wine. You can't drink that wine on a sofa. You must be
They're
sitting
looking
on
at
an
computers.
Elizabethan carriage.
How's the wine going for everybody then? Going good?
Oh, one glass is gone.
Nice.
Lovely.
I poured
Not
quite a
playing
big
around.
glass. I was watching. Oh no, go on, Gaz.
Oh, just somebody once told me that you're only supposed to fill the glass of wine up to its widest point.
Yes. Although to be fair, I did do that, and it's just the widest point is quite high up my glass.
Have you ever seen them
no, I filled
pour
up to about there.
You've seen them pour a wine in a pub though, when they pour it in, some of your budget chain pubs, I'm not going to mention their names, but sometimes they go like right up to here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm not opposed to that necessarily.
Well, I did it when I was drunk that time. I told this. I think it was one of the other podcasts I told the story about when I got drunk, and there was a little bit of wine left in a bottle, and I asked everyone around the table if they wanted some, and they apparently said yes. I heard no, so I just poured it all in my glass. I got called out for it, and I was like, no, we're just all going to share the wine from my glass. Saved.
What, like communion?
Yeah.
This is the cup of Christ.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I do want to get some like holy wine. I'd love when the churches reopen. I'm going to see if I can get myself some blessed wine and see if it tastes. I want some pre-blessed wine and some post-blessed wine, and see if it tastes different. See if you can taste the Jesus in it.
Well, I was raised Catholic, and I used to do communion, and I used to go up and sip the wine and eat the crackers. And it was, I remember it being not, it was watered down, it must have been, because I don't remember it being...
I've had it, yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was giving alcohol to a kid. It was sweet.
The disturbing thing about the Catholic communion, because I was raised Baptist, and it was Vimto. It was never even wine. It was always Vimto.
Oh, that's awesome!
I know that because my dad was the vicar. So yeah. I get backstage and I get to see the Vimto.
See all the secrets. See behind the curtain.
Yeah, but in a Catholic one, don't they believe that when you actually take it into your mouth, it actually literally becomes the blood of Christ?
Blood of Christ.
And the food is the flesh. So it doesn't matter what the wine is. If it turns to blood immediately.
Very irony.
Very irony, rich. Very rich.
Lot of wannabe vampires hanging out there.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed in.
Oh,
That's
good
the
point. Hanging around outside waiting for you've thrown the bottles
No.
out yet, mate.
That's tramps. That's just tramps.
That's what they are. Vampire tramps.
We're all tramps.
smell a
Vampires, but not all
sitcom.
vampires are tramps.
Just need that and Ted Danson's skeleton. We're all good. For anyone, there's just a lot of deep sort of Scrubs and Futurama deep cuts going on here.
I mean, what else would we do? Just drink wine?
It would be a show. Out of the ones that probably are actually like actual wine podcasts, how the fuck do you talk about a bottle of wine for like an hour?
And yet somehow you manage it.
Fair. Well,
Touche.
we give little tips and we give stories from our own lives to try and enrich the lives of others. I was actually going to go on to put the focus back on you, Gaz.
Yeah, let's do that.
Last week we mentioned that face says last week we were talking about the Portland Arms. I can't remember how we got onto the Portland Arms, but you are doing a live stream in aid of the Portland Arms, I believe.
Yes. Well, Boomer asked me if I'd help out. Basically, as you know, there's a lot of struggling music venues in the country at the moment. There's a lot of struggling everything in the country.
Yeah.
But, my business is live music, and it'd be nice to know that if and when this situation is over and we can go back to gigging, that there are some venues left for us to play in. And obviously the Music Venue Trust have started a national campaign to raise as much money as they can that they will divvy out to all the people. But there are specific places like the Portland who aren't part of that movement doing their own fundraisers because they are still having to pay rent to their landlords, their building owners during the time when they are closed, which is, I'm not going to go down that road because we don't know the details as to why they still have to pay the rent. And who the landlords are and their reasons for, because they still got to make money as well, because it's a knock-on effect, isn't it? But
yeah, try to look at the light side of it in that sense. But I know that some places are not doing it. There's a lot of chains that aren't, and they've ceased rent during these times.
Oh,
sadly, some haven't.
That's good.
The Portlands haven't.
Yeah, and some of my friends who own venues, when it first started out, when I was doing my live streams, I would just pretend that we were in that venue. I would say, tonight we are in the so-and-so pub, and if you want to buy a pint, help them out a bit.
Yeah.
Here's their PayPal, and we're just trying to just spread the love a little bit with these gigs, and it wasn't really generating too much dosh, but it was helping a bit, a bit of tip money for the staff. I don't know. We'll do what we can, I suppose. So yeah, this Portland, the Portland fundraiser, we're doing one, me and B-Sides, and I believe there's one other act, isn't there?
Justin Crane.
Justin, have I met Justin?
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever seen Right Turn Clyde or the Safs or the Judge Reinholds? They're sort of like three fairly well-known Cambridge bands. So they got Right Turn Clyde, who I actually used to be in as well.
Oh, right.
I was there towards the end of their tenure. That's how I met everyone in Cambridge, actually, through the Portland Arms as well. Just like bringing it back to that. So
yeah,
I met them all. Met pretty much everyone who I'm like close friends with. You can probably like you do like the 6 degrees of separation? Yeah, 6 degrees separate. You can probably put the Portland Arms at the beginning, and almost everyone who I know in Cambridge probably met at some point during there. And like me and my wife got together there as well and everything. So it's a pretty special place for me.
Yeah. Every town, every city's got them, haven't they? These places that mean so much to everybody. So yeah, Frank Turner's doing one a week or so after we're doing our one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
So his reach is obviously vastly bigger than mine. So with a bit of luck, some decent dosh will be raised, and with a bit of luck, that venue will still be there when we get back to going on tour again, which would be great. It's such a great venue. I think, like I said earlier, the market for online streaming is now completely saturated.
Yeah.
The first one I did before lockdown was official, we had about 800-900 people watching live.
Wow.
Which then went on, as you can see the stats, it went on to being thousands who saw it, and the reach actually totaled something like 65,000 people.
Wow.
And then the following week, once lockdown officially started, the live numbers had halved, and the going on reach got exponentially smaller and smaller. I mean, I don't care how many people watch it. If 2 people are watching, if 1 person's watching, I'm happy,
Yeah.
But it's a very flooded market because so many people are needing help, and so many people are wanting to provide the gigs.
Yeah. I remember when I was doing the comments for, or I was doing the moderating. I was sitting on the laptop for Ben and doing the comments and stuff at the side while he was streaming about 3 other videos. Very good. He's gonna do the
oh god. Which way does that go? Does it go that way or does it go that way? Because I so want to be part of that.
Oh, don't worry, dude.
I've no idea. We'll do one at the end, don't worry.
Yeah.
But anytime you feel that it's appropriate, feel free to just go along.
Just whack a good help. But yeah, no, when Ben was streaming, there was like 3 other videos that popped up and said, oh, this person's streaming now, this person's streaming now. So there's so many going on at the same time, so people have got to try and divide the attention. But the best thing, have multiple laptops. Just spend your money, buy multiple laptops, and just have them streaming everyone at the same time. Easy.
Yes. Currys are still delivering. Get loads of laptops.
Yeah. Or steal them.
I've gone screen mad lately. So I've got my desk at home because I work from home. I've got like a monitor. I've got a laptop, but I can't seem to stream Spotify from my laptop because its sound card is shit. And if there's any problem in the internet signal, then it just like completely drops. So I've also got a tablet there that I can just like play music on when I'm streaming online. Then I'm also on my phone as well. So I've got like just a ludicrous. It looks like, I don't know, like an 80s hacker film when they've got like 50 screens. Yeah,
unlimited line, lads.
Unlimited line, lads. Well, we are limited only by the length of our bottle of wine.
That's true.
That's true.
Although, I do have another one here. maybe this will keep going.
I mean, I do actually have Dungeons and Dragons at 8. I'm literally playing online D&D with some friends.
Well, let's
It's
get you
really
good
fun.
and smashed before that happens then.
Exactly.
That's
It
got to
is.
make it better.
Oh, every time I've played it, I've been drinking, and do you know what? It's actually something I've always wanted to try, and I've done about 3 sessions now. And you can literally, you've got one person, the dungeon master, guiding you through, and you make characters. So he's helped me and 2 other guys. They're all guys I work with. He's helped us create characters. And the first thing that I did when we got into this world is I made the other 2 come and do like magic drugs with me in this fantasy world.
Nice.
And that was part of the thing. Like, it took us ages to actually start the quest that this guy started, because we were doing drugs. And I tried to have, I made my character try and have sex with like some thing that was made out of hundreds of bugs, because the thing was interested in my character. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to a hotel room with it, whatever.
Do you know you're saying these things?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs were they?
Well, my
Like gateway
character,
drugs, or
oh no, I tried to have sex with the Beetle thing before I even did any of the drugs. I had some like weird pink dust stuff. Apparently, there's another guy had like what was described as like the Venom symbiote, and then someone else had a fairy, and the fairy got killed and crushed into another form of powder. So it's just like completely made up drugs, but yeah.
cake is a made up drug.
I'm game for trying all of these. I would like to add.
This isn't a drug, it's a drink.
Cake is a made up drug. There's no actual scientific proof. Yeah, I'll be up for trying it. I mean, I've never played D&D. I'm not really big into computers. It's a miracle I got this to work, to be fair.
Well, I mean, normally D&D is all pens and papers and stuff. We're only using the computer because we've got it's basically a Zoom call. But yeah, it is a lot of fun. I also, there's another guy who's playing with me who has a very similar sort of sense of humor, and we fought a pack of goblins, and you know, afterwards you can loot their bodies and find stuff. And he was like, because I loaned him some money early in the game because I started with quite a bit of money. It's just based on my character's background.
You just choose to be wealthy as fuck. I haven't actually played it. I'd actually really like to, but I haven't done it yet. But so I'm just now. It is good fun. After every single thing you say, I have a question.
Well, what he did, we were looting these goblins, and he said to the Dungeon Master, "Is that I would like to cut the penis off a goblin and make a necklace for Callum's character. My character is called Richard Caligula, and he made a goblin penis necklace for me, and he had to like roll to see if it was he was successful in making the necklace. He was, so my character is now walking around with a goblin penis around his neck.
How big is a goblin penis? I mean, you get to make it up, so is it like uncomfortably large, or is it like just like a little beep?
It's a little beep.
A delicate jewelry item. It's not like carrying a fire hydrant around your neck.
No.
I guess that might be like an orc dick.
I was gonna say maybe it was an ogre.
Like what was it? The Nazgul? No, I'm getting no. They probably have like wavy, shadowy dicks. What are the big?
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Wraith guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? The fighting Uruk-hai would have like big fucking, like just very gnarly, like a tree stump kind of dick.
These are the guys with the handprints on their faces.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, they've got a big, gnarly, like a giant knick-knack.
Yeah.
Knobbly.
They'd be like just really coarse dicks.
Coarse, like a fucking scouring sponge.
Just literally like a literal fucking tree stump. Like a knick-knack with bark on it. That's what I imagine a fighting Uruk-hai's dick to look like.
I'm sure there is some images somewhere that you can find.
When you play D&D, why don't you just invent yourself as the best character and then win?
There are rules around character creation. You only have a certain amount of you can either pick a build and then sort of customize within certain parameters, or you can start from scratch. But you have so many like attribute points that you can assign to different skills. I just let the guy make it for me because I love my like video games and RPGs and stuff, but I couldn't be bothered. It's just like make me a character. I'm like a demon rogue type guy, so
I've never been into computer
cool.
games. I've never had a console or anything like that. I don't have gaming in my blood. I have a friend who has the game where you're like hunting deer, and the game is to like stalk a deer in silence. And so he literally he'll do a move where the character does like that, and then sits there for like 3 hours waiting so the deer doesn't move, and then a bit more. And a bit more.
There are a load of simulator games. So it might be hunting simulator.
I guess people are bored in lockdown, so you know you kill some time.
Oh, no, he did this years ago. Ago.
Well, you had no excuse then. You could go outside.
I have another friend. Who used to be really big into Flight Simulator. Remember that game?
Yeah.
And he flew to Ibiza from the UK in Flight Simulator in real time.
Fuck. It's like when in Gran Turismo, and you can do the 24-hour Le Mans, and it actually takes you 24 hours. And I know, as a friend of mine, I'm pretty sure it's actually one of the guys I do D&D with. He took it in turns with a friend of his, and they did a couple of hours stint, switched out, they just did a whole 24-hour Le Mans.
Wow, did they win?
I can't remember. I didn't ask. I was like, wow.
Oh, God, if they didn't, what a fucking waste of time.
Exactly.
Imagine doing it and then not winning. But then it'd be worse doing it in real life and not winning, I suppose.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
They had
but at least then you actually did something.
They had the whole racing setup as well. So they had the wheel, they had like a gaming chair, and they had the pedal. So it was like they were actually driving. I mean, it sounded fun, but I imagine it'd be fun for like the first half hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. After that, it's like, right, let's play something else.
My friend who did the Ibiza flying thing, some other friends of his made him a little cockpit out of cardboard for him to sit in, and gave him a little hat to wear. And he's got quite bad OCD, and all of his numbers on it in his car, that they always have to be on evens. He can't have odd numbers on his radio and things like that. And so they drew all the dials on in the cockpit with odd numbers on, just to fuck with him.
I get that numbers thing though, because if I have the volume up on the TV has to be visible by 2. It has to be like 20, 22, 24, 26, 28.
Oh, I don't give a shit at all.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Whatever sounds right, I don't really care at all. Okay,
well, I'm the same, but it doesn't have to be any particular thing. So what's your verdict on the wine then, boys? How far are you in?
I'm nearly down the second glass.
These are my stats. We can see.
Where am I at?
It's hard to see.
Boomer's winning.
I'm massively trailing. Jeez Louise.
You drink really slow. Every time that we ever like go out or anything, it's always like, oh, if we do rounds or anything like that, there's like, oh, whose round is it? Like we just leave you out half the time.
Yeah, you fall out of sync. You go out of sync with everybody else.
Yeah.
You just drink
so you don't have to keep buying.
Although it's really weird because when I'm at home, I mean that is a good point, guys. I don't do it deliberately; it just works in my favour. When I'm at home, though, recently, me and Ben always have our rums and cokes and stuff when we sit at home, and I fucking plough through them. And so I'm sitting there waiting to go and pour the next ones, and sometimes I have to go and do it myself. So it's weird.
Well, he doesn't do it for you. How dare he?
Well, he normally does. He overdoes his hostness in a nice way. Which is great because then it means I don't have to do it. Because whenever we have people over, as far as I'm concerned, you know everything is. Get your own fucking drink.
I agree. Yeah, if you like, have you got a drink? And I'm like half of it. Should I get you another one? I'll get it. Like when I finish this one, man. It's like the kitchen's like just there. It's like right next door. It's fine. It's very good.
Especially at Christmas time when he makes loads and loads and loads of mulled wine. And then you've always got mulled wine on tap.
Oh, I can't wait for the fucking Christmas edition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hashtag mulled wine, lads.
Oh. I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
there's so much we need to cover with wine. We need to change from a red at some point as well. Like I said earlier,
I'm planning on getting a white, even though white's
because I don't like white wine. So
white's my least favourite, but I will do it.
Agreed. I don't like white wine. I've never found one that I enjoy drinking, but I do drink it when it's on a table at a wedding.
Oh, yes. You drink anything then?
Yeah. I do.
It's on the table.
I do like it. I used to not like it, but I sort of learned to like it from a relationship that I had when I first started dating someone. We just used to get bottles of white wine and lemonade. I would have
spritz it up.
White wine spritzers, yeah. Just like Ned Flanders in Vegas. I have a white wine spritzer.
I had a great system once at it was like a company function where we went to like, I think for this one, we went to like an island where it became an island overnight because when the tide came in, it got isolated. And so this like big company function. It was called OC Island or something like that. I can't remember exactly where that is. It's about 2 hours from Cambridge or something like that. But we had this system where like everyone was having like a long dinner table. And I'll sit next to my mate Rian, and she, I think, like white wine. I like red wine. So people kept coming down. Of course, there's a couple of glasses and each had one for red, one for white. I don't really understand why there's a difference, but apparently there was. And so the waiter would walk past like, oh, would you like some red wine? Go, yes, please. And she would also say, yes, please. So we got this system worked out pretty sharpish. Then the next time we walk out, oh, would you like some white wine? Both of us would say, yes, please. The next one, oh, yes, please. And then just basically I would have the 2 reds and she would have the 2 whites. And you've actually got to neck one, then drink the other one sensibly till they come round again. And then we just repeat it. Rinse and repeat.
Brilliant. Kind of Brilliant. Necking wine is a very good way of doing that accidental drunk thing.
Oh, yeah.
Wine is one of those things that happens immediately if you drink it too fast. You feel fine, you're out.
Yeah.
Because it's not to be trifled with.
Yeah, it's the kind of drunk that you get when, especially like if you smoke or something, you go out for a cigarette and you come back fucking hammered.
Yeah, what's that? It's the fresh air or is it the smoking? But it makes your head
a little bit of both maybe. But yeah, the fresh air is definitely, I think, is like you're fine till you leave a pub and then you're destroyed.
Yeah,
your life is over now. Once you left.
When I was a smoker, like a regular smoker, I'd occasionally dip in and out, but I'd be drinking at home and I'd feel absolutely fine. I wouldn't smoke in the house, and I'd have like 1 fag before bed, and I'd go and it would just knock me out instantly. Just one cigarette, and because of the wine, it would all just pile on, and that was it. Boom, straight out. Surefire way to sleep. Brilliant. Although,
I went on a work.
Smoking's bad.
Yeah, I don't smoke either. I'm a vapist now, a serial vapist. That's a V with a V. I made that joke once, and someone didn't quite hear me properly and thought I said I was a serial rapist. I was like, no, you please, sorry, you've misunderstood. I'm not a rapist. I'm not a rapist.
And the more you say it, the more guilty you sound.
Oh, damn it.
My last cigarette was 1st of 2 a.m. 1st of January.
That was New Year's, wasn't it?
Yeah. Fair play, man. Well done.
Well played. Well, you can't like cold turkey as well. I couldn't. I had to like vape to get rid of it because I'm just too much of an addict on it.
I wasn't enjoying smoking for a long time while I was actually smoking, but I knew I had to get to the end of the year and then I could just see it away. I've always said I will only stop smoking when I stop enjoying it, and I stopped enjoying it.
It's a fair way to do it, man. But at least you've still got wine.
I love wine.
Which will bring us on to a next segment. So we need to pair this wine with a band, and if you can, album.
I nearly forgot about this.
This is one of my favourite bits. I forgot about this.
So, does anyone have anything in mind?
No, shit, no. I mean, I'm not going first in this one. Let me smell and taste and do all that nonsense again.
Oh, actually, fuck no! I've got another thing. While Evan's like kind of wondering about this, something good happened today, which is really relevant to this. So when I went out and bought this very wine from Lidl, by the way, £5.49. When I went to the checkout, because I did a lot of my big shop today, I went to the checkout, like the young lad there behind his like big screen. He's like, "Oh, how's your day going?" He asked me, "How's your day going?" "Oh, yes, it's all right so far, mate. How's yours?" And then he like scanned the wine and went, It's all right. I can't whine about it. I'm like, oh, you. Thank you,
Nice.
sir.
Wow.
Outstanding.
You never get
Take-
character from anyone who's operating a checkout. That's
No.
amazing.
So thank you, checkout man at Lidl in St. Neots. It's the small one, not the big one, because we have 2 Lidls. Apparently, we need 2 because we're a village or a town, whatever it is. And
I have a lovely.
to you, sir.
I think they're a good class of checkout stuff. I have another little checkout story to be saved for another day, but I'll tell you when we're not on Zoom.
Okay. Right,
What's,
cool.
all right, what band then?
Cal,
Since the
go on.
last podcast, you were talking quite a lot about your favourite Jimmy Eat World albums, and I'm a huge Jimmy Eat World fan. And I recently did a podcast, Desert Island Punks, where I had to pick albums, five favourite albums, and
I've heard of this podcast.
I picked Futures over Bleed American, and
Ooh.
Ben, your husband, Cal, did pick me up on this. He picked me up on this. He said that's a controversial choice, Futures over Bleed American, and I know it is, but that opening riff on Futures just gets me every time. It's like kicks you in the face. It's just so good. But then so does Chase This Light with Big Casino. I mean, that first
Big
Big Casino kicks in.
Kind
Kind of want to listen to it now. You know, it's that good. It's just over there. I can see it. You know, I want to go and listen to it. So I'm gonna say Jimmy Eat World because I know it was covered last week, but for me, Jimmy Eat World.
Well, if I remember correctly, no wine has been paired with Jimmy Eat World. I just mentioned them because I mentioned May. So that's fine. Which album? So would you go with Futures? That wine's going to pair nice with Futures.
Yeah, I think so. For me. Yeah.
That's The thing with Futures, that was the first Jimmy album that I bought and that I
remember you saying last week, how Bleed American wasn't the first one you heard because everyone had that in the sort of early noughties. It came out 9/11 in 2011, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and they had to change the name. It was just called Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah.
Because Bleed American was deemed to be too controversial, given that 9/11 had only recently happened. So it's for the first release, it was just called Jimmy Eat World, but with those absolute bangers. I mean, every song a banger.
So I was aware of some of the songs from that, like The Middle, but I kind of dismissed Jimmy Eat World for a while. I had a very narrow view because that was around the time I was just getting into emo music. So I was listening to a lot of Funeral for a Friend. I was listening to a lot of Finch. I was listening to a lot of Thrice and Thursday and things like that.
Why you and my wife get on so well? She has someone to talk to about this.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until because I used to rely on my older brother for all the music. I'll get his, like, he would buy all these albums because he was all into it, and then I would just get it from him. And then I finally started exploring this new music by myself. And then I came across Jimmy Eat World and actually started listening to them properly. And I bought Futures, and I really like that album. I felt like it starts off really strong. That album starts off really, really, really strong, and it's like big heavy hitters, and it gets slowly more calmer.
So does Bleed American, though.
It's a very good point, and I
maybe
feel like
a formula. Maybe a formula they have.
It's the Jimmy Eat World formula.
But did you know? Did you know? This is really. I only learnt this when I'm making my last but one album. The reason that albums tail off in the middle and at the end is because when they are pressed to vinyl, you have to have the quieter, less instrumentational songs, like the ballads with fewer instruments, at the center of the disc, because the grooves can only take so much information on a vinyl, which is why track 1 on side A and track 1 on side B is always a belter, and track 6 or whatever, 5 and 6, they're always quiet, ballady type ones. That's because of vinyl. Mind blown.
Wow.
Possibly the most interesting fact I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah,
it's got nothing to do with wine.
No, I don't. Fuck wine. I don't care about wine. That's so fucking interesting.
You take that back. You are a wine lad.
No, it's because
No, I don't, but I
when
love
I was
it.
figuring out the track order for my last one album, the producer was like, well, you can't have that one as track 6 or that one as track 12. It's too loud. You have to have a ballad as the end of each side.
And it's a
I just
great
assumed
album.
it was like a
Losing
general
frequencies.
people's sensibilities thing, and that's how the way that an album should be. Like you have like, you know, this,
It's
this,
purely
this.
practical. It's a practical thing about frequencies. I mean, you can have a banger at the end on the middle and the little grooves, but it'll sound worse because so many frequencies are being compromised by the lack of information able to be stored in the grooves.
I guess
I
that
still don't understand how it works, how you get music in a groove. Don't get it.
I was talking about this the other day. I don't
Witchcraft.
Although it would slightly explain why some bands then go for like more discs than you would actually need. Like you have like some albums will be on literally side A, side B, and then some will have like 2 songs per side. Yeah, 2 or 3 a side.
Yeah, I just bought The Colour and the Shape on vinyl because it's one of those records that it's a belter. But
it's one of the greatest albums of all time.
Exactly. That's why I just thought, I don't have that on record, so I bought it, and it's a double disc. It's the same record. It's the same as the CD version, but to get all of those tracks on, you need 4 sides. And same with making my last album. I had 12 tracks written, but I had to drop a track because it was too long to fit on a vinyl. Each side of vinyl can only hold up to 22 minutes. And this is getting really boring and geeky now, but for every minute you go over, you lose 10 decibels of sound volume. So you can fit more information on, but the sound level goes down and down and down, and the frequencies get narrower and narrower. So for the optimum sound quality on a vinyl, one side of vinyl, it can be maximum 22 minutes long.
This makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Dull chat.
Also, with the color and the shape as well. Like one cool thing I remember about that album as well is that I once had like a girlfriend who was an absolute nightmare, and even had like a secret pact between like my housemate, my mum, and one of my best friends to try and get her away from me. It was one of those kinds of women. And the worst thing about our breakup was that she still had my copy of The Colour and Shape on CD. Because back then CDs were a thing. It's quite a while ago. You know.
They were expensive.
Remember CDs? Yeah. They were a thing at one point. Record players weren't. Vinyl was dead at that point.
Gone.
And especially tapes were also obsolete. It was only CDs at that point.
Yep, I've got thousands of them.
Yeah, so I guess it was like early 2000s, something like that. And the worst part about it was like when I realised, like, oh fuck, I left that fucking copy of Colour and Shape round the house. I'm never going to get it back. And my housemate was like kind enough to like, well, because I was quite bummed out, and he realised that because I hadn't quite seen sense that she was a poisonous woman yet. So he then basically, as a present, bought me a new copy of The Colour and the Shape, and just like, well done. I've got this for you, man. I was like, oh, fuck, I like nearly cried. I was so happy. It was fucking awesome.
Oh,
that's lovely. The other fucking shit thing is I left a copy of a video that we rented, or a DVD we rented from Blockbuster at her house on the night I broke up with her.
Oh.
Did you get penalised for that then?
Yeah, who paid the fine?
Fortunately, I used to work in that Blockbuster. So when they told me I had a £58 like late fee. So they told me like, so I explained the situation because they were friends. I used to work with them. Go, right, so we'll write off. Don't worry about that. I can say that now because Blockbusters doesn't exist, so no one's going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Kind of sad though, right? Because I know we're getting well off of wine here, but as a child, getting taken to the video store to mooch around the aisles to pick a video to watch that evening was a real highlight. It was a real treat.
Not even just
we had Video Solent in Swindon. Video Solent.
Yeah, not even as a kid. Like when me and Shell got together, my wife, we would go to that Blockbuster like in Leighton Buzzard where I used to live, and we'd just like that would be our like kind of like our date night thing. We'd just like go around, find a film that we wanted to watch, buy some like dirty snacks from there, like whatever was fuzzy and cheesy, and just buy that. And then that would be like, a little date night in kind of thing. Like stop at an offie on the way back, get some beers, and do that.
Oh no, we've gone over 7 o'clock. Carl, have you got to go and do your D&D?
Oh no, D&D.
We've still got 2 albums to go. So that's I've got one.
Yeah, shit, sorry.
Completely forgot. Yeah, we've gone.
And also, like when like going off topic from wine, Gaz, it's not a problem at all. It's absolutely not a problem at all. Because half the time we go off the topic of wine. But no, what you were saying, just coming back quickly to about vinyl, it makes sense because May, the band that I mentioned last week, 2 weeks ago, these come out every 2 weeks.
Last episode.
Yeah,
It was last episode, yeah.
They
Such
released.
a wine mad geek.
They've sort of re-released all their albums on vinyl over the last few years, and they all come as like double vinyl collections. So Saturday. So now it makes so much more sense because especially the Everglow has got so many. The amount of instruments packed into that album is. Oh, it's just fantastic. That's it. I'm going to listen to that album later. It's so good.
I need to listen to that again.
That reminds me, I need to listen to that because you mentioned it last podcast, and I thought, I need to listen to that, and I've completely forgotten. So thank you for reminding me on that one.
I hope you enjoy it. I really do. It's not for everyone. I don't think it's quite. I just think it's fantastic. It's my favourite album of all time. I think.
Wow, big words,
Yeah.
big statements. Oh, I can't wait to have a look. But yeah, the vinyl thing also, when you master an album after you've mixed it, you master for CD, which is the highest quality known to man. Like all of the frequencies available for your ears and things. But when you master to vinyl, you have to do a different master. So when you get your stuff mastered, you have to get it done twice if you want to do vinyl.
The last time I
Different
mastered
master.
it was only CDs. Vinyl wasn't a thing at the time. Last time I had something vinyl.
Yeah, it's a different master, and it's technically, and the vinyl geeks are going to hate me for this, it's technically a worse sound because to get the sound onto vinyl, you have to lose certain frequencies, like certain really low end, really high end stuff, because the technology can't handle it. So although people say, "Oh, I prefer the sound of vinyl; it's better sound," and everything, it's a different sound, but technically,
technically,
it's actually
not.
worse.
From sound wave pattern, it will be much more restricted because it can't quite handle the same amount of it.
But it does sound different. You got to admit, if you listen to your favorite album on CD and then you listen to it on a record, it does sound different. And
I've had that where it actually sounds worse, and it's it's a little bit. So I remember my wife bought a Dillinger Escape Plan album, and she put it on a record player, and then I instantly noticed the sound difference. And like, there's certain things like basically the sound was worse on vinyl than it was on CD.
Yeah.
Because they're so like sort of frantic. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of noise, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a lot of noise.
It's incredibly heavy, very fast, and so intricate that I felt that some of it actually got lost in vinyl.
Depends on your
CD
record player
works
as well,
better for
doesn't
it. A digital format would make far more sense for a band like Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna give you this wine's album. So this wine.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So we keep doing it. We got to at least squeeze this category in. Then all fucking bets are off, and we just fucking get around.
Well, we need to get tips as well, remember, Boomer?
Oh shit! Right, okay. Well, let's get this one out of the way.
We don't need to do anything, to be fair.
Let's get this out of the way.
I did promise my wife this would be like an hour because we've got like movie night. So
okay,
that's fair.
Well,
that's fair.
Right. Well, right. So the fucking Sepa Labrel or. This is Chelsea Wolfe, Birth of Violence, which is her latest album, which is an acoustic centered album. The reason why is that it's very dark, it's beautiful looking. This is mostly me just like crushing on Chelsea Wolfe, who I absolutely love. But no, she's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it's very dark. It's rich in textures, to be honest. It's not like the last one I reviewed where I was saying it's very complex, has different layers. It kind of has like a certain ethereal thinness to it where it doesn't feel heavy in any way, but it is heavy at the same time. But it's just like a very, very tasty, very hits you on the right sort of fucking tasty point notes. That means nothing to anyone except me. But it hits me on the right tasty point notes. Yeah, it's very good.
Which one is it again? Please remind me.
It's called the Sepa Labrel RC.
The Rioja. It's a nice Rioja.
The Rioja, which I expected it to be way like more bold and fruitier than it is, but it's kind of like I say, it's kind of reminding me of that album because of its kind of like almost like a cold tone to it. So it's not massively warm. It's quite dry. and that's kind of like quite apt to that album, which it's a very beautiful album. When I was
Well,
when I
you're
did,
matching your wine to your album much more accurately than I did. That's yeah.
That's
I just
fine.
went, oh, I like this wine. I like that album. That's my match.
That's fine. You do it however it feels natural
That's
to
what
you,
I
my
did.
friend.
That's what I did the first episode. So
Yeah. But I remember I
That's
sent
right.
that to Dan O'Dell, Heartwork, when he was recording my EP that I did.
Yeah.
Like sent him Chelsea Wolf's new album, and like, so have you listened to it yet? And he's just like, mate, that's fucking beautiful. And it's such a beautiful sounding record. It's like washed with reverb. It's a little, all of her stuff is, but this one's just a very special reverb for a songwriter. It's so multi-layered and beautiful. It's incredible. I highly recommend everyone listens to
Oh, I'm
Chelsea
definitely going
Wolf,
to listen to
Birth
that.
of
That and
Violets.
May. That's my listening for tomorrow.
Mm.
Chelsea Wolf and May. Thank you. Good
Cal.
good recommendations. Cal.
Hit me with an album. I keep pointing in the wrong place. Hit me with an album.
It's there for me.
oh, you're there for
Yeah,
me.
you're
and,
there
and
for
Boomer
me.
is there for me.
Yeah, Cal's
So
there. Cal's there.
You're both, yeah.
everybody
You
vote.
look at that.
Okay, so I
Oh no, wrong way.
I've actually I looked at I was while you were talking about your pairing, Boomer, I was thinking about what I would want to pair my wine with, and then I looked at the name of my wine after I'd already made a decision in my head, and realised that this works on another level.
Oh,
So
is it another level?
You're absolutely not picking what I'm hoping you're going to pick. But do it.
probably not. So I think my wine would pair lovely with Finch's "Say Hello to Sunshine."
Absolutely not what I hoped.
So, and I will tell you for why. So I loved. Oh my god, I can't remember what the first album was called. What's
Burn?
Finch's first album called?
It's not What It Is to Burn, is it?
What It Is to Burn. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, What Is to Burn. So, What Is to Burn.
It's the end of
thought
my
was-
wine now, lads.
Oh wow.
Yeah, mine's gone. I'm out.
I
Oh.
have one glass left, and I've just
This is
thought,
it.
wow,
This is the last
I'm
bit.
very behind. Yeah, so What It Is to Burn, that was the first album I heard by Finch, and it was very raw and gritty, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And then Say Hello to Sunshine came out, and it still had heavy elements, but it was almost like it was a bit more polished, and it was a bit more, there was like a sweetness to it that was very, very charming. And I know a lot of people who like Finch who didn't like the second album. I thought, and Ben, my husband, will agree with me, Say Hello to Sunshine is a fantastic album. It dips in and out of being like dirty and rotten to being a bit more upbeat and shiny and lovely. And this wine, it's got a rich, deep, full-bodied flavour, but on top, you've got this lovely delicateness. That's not a word. It's quite sweet, but if you have enough of it, it's quite full-bodied. And also, the fact that the wine is called Dark Horse, I feel like Say Hello to Sunshine was quite a dark horse of an album.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to go
what you did
for.
there.
I hoped you were going to go for Dark Horse by Converge. Admittedly, that's a song.
Converge. I know Converge. I don't know Converge well enough, but
Yeah, no, it's not your cup of tea.
There's
I
a
do
pub
have
down
one
the
of
road
their
from me
albums.
called Dark
I do have one of their
Oh,
albums.
do you? Which one have you got?
I do not know. I just know I have it, and I like it.
Glad you're a fan. like I have anything to do with it. Right,
I got
tips.
it off an old mate of mine. Yeah. I actually have a tip. I have a tip. So, people working from home, it can with all the limited capabilities that you have, and actually no, not just people working from home. People being stuck at home can get very stressful. It's not nice. you have your good days and you have your bad days. I had last week was just a whole week of bad days for me. It was very stressful. This week hasn't been so bad. Headspace. It is an app. You can also find some of the videos on YouTube. It's something that you can sign up for, I think, and you get sort of calming, almost like meditation techniques to do. But the introduction to Headspace is, I think it's a 10-minute YouTube video. It's freely found on YouTube. And it basically just walks you through sort of like shutting off your mind and just focusing on sort of being in the moment sort of thing, where you like focus on your breathing and you focus on how your body feels. I had a day where I was quite stressed out. I was quite busy. I managed to get a bit of a break. I sat down, I put my headphones in and listened to this video, this Headspace video. And it's a guy, he's got quite a calming voice. It's almost ASMR, but it's not. And he walks you through basically like a focused meditation, essentially. And I came out the end of it, and I felt a lot better. So, you're getting stressed out, Headspace.
Good for you, man.
That was good. Like it. Like it a lot, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What you got?
Tips for
anything
life in general?
Life,
Anything.
wine, whatever you fancy.
Doesn't have to be lockdown related. Could be anything.
I could do wine. A wine tip.
Oh, do a
I could
wine
do
tip.
a wine not to do.
Nice.
But are you familiar with the game Centurion?
Yes.
Yes.
Where you try to drink 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes. Don't try it with wine. That's my tip.
But I kind of want to now.
No, because I did it, and you can ask Mrs. Brookfield. Yeah, my friend Jamie and I, when we were living in the same house together, as was Mrs. B as well, we'd done Centurion with beer the week before, and we thought, okay, next Friday or whatever it was, we're going to do it with wine. And we got 45 minutes in. 45 minutes in, and we'd done 3 or 4 bottles of wine, and then that's where it apparently went wrong. And this is in the afternoon, by the way, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And Ange came home from work and found me lying on the floor. And there's a photograph of me in that state. I'm awake, but I'm not there. And it is one of the funniest photographs of me. And it is, I was a that's hard to say.
Especially after a couple of glasses of wine.
Yes. And then, so I passed out, obviously, woke up at about 5 and then went to the pub.
Smart.
But yeah, I don't think it's possible to drink 100 shots of wine in 100 minutes without dying. So that's my tip.
Awesome.
That's a good tip.
That is a good tip.
I'm into that. Because I love wine, but I'm not going to do 100 shots of it.
I also love wine.
I still am tempted. Despite your story, I still am. So I've looked at
what is your
after wine? You try whiskey, and then after whiskey, petrol.
Well, I'm not doing 100. I'm not doing a centurion of whiskey. That's just fucking ludicrous.
No, you can't afford it.
That's a really fun death sentence.
Yeah, that's essentially the film Leaving Las Vegas, isn't it?
The way I want to go out is to do a like when you have like, if you could do like a Make-A-Wish Foundation for healthy people, that I want to do the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a day in the life of Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh Jesus! Have you watched the YouTube videos of the things that he did, like the day in the life? You know how much.
Have you
how
read
much cocaine he had before breakfast?
Yeah, do you read the article? Is it on a video?
Yes.
I read an article of it, like where it literally just dictates every minute of a single day of his. And I mean that day alone costs probably my month's wages, admittedly, in cocaine.
It's insane.
It's incredible. But admittedly, I mean, the thing is, guys like him they're the fucking like wild men. If you want good art and you want good like real fucking quality shit where you want people to actually like push the imaginations to certain boundaries, then don't expect them to be fucking well-adjusted people, because it's just not happening. Like
most of the musicians and artists and people that I know and not well-adjusted people.
Yeah, you're possibly the most well-adjusted one I know, to be honest.
And that's why my music is so shit.
I disagree with that.
I disagree. I do disagree.
Everyone check out Gaz's latest album, Lost Folk. It's fantastic.
Shit, Lost Folk is a fucking
link
great
it.
album. It is really good. We're going to link it. It's going to be good. Where actually, you're not on Spotify, are you? Is there a reason for that, by the way? I assume that's a conscious decision.
Oh, there is. I know the reason, but go on.
Explain it.
Tell the reason.
Oh no, it's way too long and boring to explain. The short reason
version
is that for every play you get, you receive 0.00028 of a pence, and I believe that music is worth more than that.
Very admirable,
So,
and I completely agree with you.
Also, it costs a fucking fortune to make an album, so why the hell would I give it away for free?
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I
fair.
agree.
Those streaming platforms only work for people who are multi-million selling artists, like your Taylor Swifts and your Ed Sheerans and stuff. It works fine for them, but for the likes of me, it cost me 10 grand to make an album. That 10 grand has to come from somewhere, and I got to make it back. So
yeah,
that's the short answer. Yeah, the other answer is way more boring. So.
It is a great album, though.
It is a good album,
and
and it's available on vinyl.
It's available on vinyl.
It is available on vinyl.
None of the big heavy tracks are in the middle.
Yeah, that's it. All the slow ones are at the end. We know this now.
Awesome. Well, in that case, we'll end it there. We'll end on this note. So, thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I apologise if everything I said has been nonsense, because it usually is.
It's made more sense than what we normally say, so everyone will probably thank you, to be honest.
That'd be tough.
It's been fucking good hanging out with you, man. Fucking love it. It's all good.
It's been really, really nice.
It's been lovely to see you guys, and hopefully we get to do this in person at some point and drink booze together.
Definitely. Really I can't wait till the live Wine Lads happen. This was meant to be me and Cal originally. It's meant to be us actually physically together.
We should do it at the Portland Arms. We should have an audience as well. Sell tickets and have an audience.
Wine Lads live! Oh my god!
Wine Lads live.
Oh god, that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah,
as soon as this is over.
My parting gift. There you go. Have that.
And also, you are welcome to join us for that one.
Yes,
I'm there. I am already there.
Amazing. Yes. So thank you from me, Boober. Hope you have a lovely evening.
Thank you from me, Cal. Have a fantastic day.
Gaz.